Hey friends, how's it going? And happy Thursday to you. And if you're joining us on the replay, a big hello to you. Thanks for joining us and watching us. We so appreciate it. We're live and we're excited to have you be part of the conversation.
Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, everybody. I'm Winnie, your host, Forbes contributor, CNBC council member, and award-winning financial pro, here to keep you on top of relevant, trending business news. But most importantly, you're part of today's discussion. I would love to hear from you. And of course, I'll be monitoring your sharing audience feedback throughout the show. Want to say a hello and welcome to CrossX Fighter. I think you joining us from YouTube Live. My friends are Modern Mom joining us from multiple channels. And as you know, this is really sort of that special week. We always had so much going on this week, but let's start and talk about how the market closed today, because today was kind of one of those really interesting days, I should say. The market closed down kind of lackluster. The Dow closed down 63 points today. The NASDAQ closed up 20 points, so we'll take it. The S&P down 6 points, almost 7 points today as well. But, let's start with a high note, and that is we want to say big congratulations to SpaceX and Elon Musk yesterday for launching the world's first crew of amateur astronauts. Pretty cool. This is a private flight that was scheduled and is currently going around, I guess, around planet Earth for the next 3 days. How cool is that? So this is the first chartered passenger flight for Elon Musk. You see him right now. They're actually streaming live as we speak. It's actually the first chartered passenger flight for Elon's space company here, SpaceX, and the first time a rocket has gone towards orbit with a crew that contains no professional astronauts. Kind of cool. So a 30-year-old by the name of Jared Isaacman sort of must take some credit for making this happen, because if you don't know who he is, I actually didn't know who he was. Jared, I guess, made his fortune. He's a billionaire in the payment processing company that he started in his teens. In fact, what he did is he's actually the third billionaire to launch into space. Only 38 years old. So now, as you know, this follows Richard Branson and Jeff Bezos as well. But so Jared now picked up the tab for the entire flight for 4 different people, and he's also joined by Haley. I can't say her last name exactly, but I want to say Arsenault is set to become the youngest American in space, and she's actually the first person in space with a prosthesis. So she has a titanium rod in her left leg. So it's kind of exciting. It's the first true non-astronaut manned flight. What's really cool about this is this is they call this sort of capsule, if you will, is actually completely automated. And the 4 Dragon Riders, they're calling them Dragon Riders, actually had to spend 6 months training for the flight in order to make sure that they could cope and handle any emergencies. And so it's kind of cool. So these 4 people, 6 months of training, completely automated flight. So this is the beginning. We'll see. I'm curious to see, for those of you who are watching or who are with us today, I see Vicky joining us on Facebook Live. What do you think? Is this something that you would want to do? A completely automated flight. No astronauts on board, completely civilian flight of 4 people. Now, these 4 people are actually going to spend 3 days orbiting Earth. I guess, they'll see us from quite high above. We probably can't see them, but you can see they're streaming, so you can take a look at this. This is really cool. And they'll be going about 100 miles higher than the International Space Station. And supposedly Jared actually pushed the envelope, if you will, and gave this group a little bit more pressure to take them higher than expected. So good luck to them. Congratulations to them. And I see Vicky saying she would totally do this. Congratulations. Let us know how this goes. It's really cool. I'm kind of loving the fact that now these space shuttles, we're actually able to see what they're seeing thanks to technology, thanks to obviously internet and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. It's almost like you're in the flight without really being in the flight. So yeah, congratulations, and very, very exciting. Now, on other news, this is kind of something that pertains to more most of us still here on Earth, and that is, well, there's some numbers that have been coming out. We're taking a look at what's happening with the financial markets, and of course, trying to establish what the future is going to look like. Is the market going to continue to do well, or is it going to be a tremendous pullback? And of course, we're looking at company earnings to see if you're investing in your 401k or different stocks or different mutual funds, is your portfolio going to keep up? So one thing that we also look at, and that news came out today, is of course on retail sales. Are people shopping as much as they were pre-pandemic? And how much more will they shop? And will that bill keep up with GDP, so that even though we're in the deep of a pandemic here, is the government going to be okay? Is the United States going to be okay? Are we going to be able to sustain and get beyond this? Well, the news that came out that said, well, believe it or not, Americans are spending quite a lot right now, and that's not because they're not shopping. They're certainly shopping, but they're doing a lot more online shopping, obviously now than before. Now, one thing they noticed that in August there was actually a big boost in spending here in America, probably by back to school shopping, because as we know, many kids went back to school. The majority of kids went back to school in August. So a lot of people are spending maybe last minute, depending on what they needed, deciding what they needed for school. I'm guessing a lot of that money also went towards PPE. And of course, the child tax credit, which was given out by the U.S. government, they said that actually could have helped temper expectations so that there wasn't a tremendous slowdown in economic growth here in the United States in the third quarter. So this is sort of a little bit of a surprise rebound. So you're seeing that sort of taking effect into the financial markets. In fact, people are saying, wow, that's surprising. July was kind of a lackluster month in terms of spending, but online sales actually jumped over 5% in August. And as you know, so that's a good thing. We're seeing Ann Rose is joining us from Twitter Live, is saying, I shop more online this year than I ever did. I'm in agreement with you, and I feel that way personally as well. And Vicky is saying same in UK. Online shopping still continues to be very, very strong. It's really interesting to see this because we need people to spend. And one of the arguments of this pandemic was that we needed to open things back up, because if people didn't get back to normal, then people weren't earning money and people weren't spending money. But interesting enough, this sort of surprised a lot of us here in the financial markets that spending actually did so well, a little bit more than expected last month. So let's see how it does this month. Now, on other news, let's talk about this. Let's talk about where your grandparents and parents stand right now, because your parents and grandparents might be even getting an income bump. And you're like, what? My parents aren't working, or my grandparents aren't working, or maybe you are of qualifying age and maybe you're not working. Well, believe it or not, Social Security payments might be increasing in 2022. Actually, they're not might be. They are increasing. Social Security payments are actually going up next year. And you probably are with me on this, and that you probably heard the news just recently, hearing that actually we're going to run out of Social Security money for the rest of us 1 year earlier. And yet they're increasing Social Security payments? Why, yes, they are. So Social Security payments are actually increasing for seniors who are currently receiving Social Security by $100 next year. And that's actually in 3 or 4 months from now. Social Security is getting a major cost of living adjustment in 2022. So the average senior is going to see an increase of 6% in monthly payments, which is actually equates to the biggest cost of living adjustment in the last 40 years. That's right. So as you know, historically, inflation runs about 2 to 3%, but because inflation has obviously increased because of the pandemic and is expected to increase and continue to increase, well, they had to adjust the standard of living. So for some of you, maybe your grandparents, maybe your parents, maybe you might actually be seeing more income. So whatever you do, make sure to keep it safe. Make sure to keep some stored up for your emergency savings because you never know how things will change. Now, as you know, this increase in Social Security payments was due to the coronavirus pandemic. And so this hopes to keep people afloat and be able to keep up with inflation costs, not only at the grocery stores, but a lot of other expenses, gas bills, all that good stuff, right? So that's what that is. Now we want to also segue to another congratulations. First, we said congratulations, obviously, to SpaceX and the 4 people, Jared, on the space shuttle right now in the capsule going around Earth. But we also want to say a big congratulations to MailChimp's founder and CEO, Ben Chestnut. Talk about another overachiever. All right. So as you may have heard, MailChimp was recently agreed to be acquired by the company Intuit. Now, many of you know that I'm a big fan of Intuit. Intuit is a parent company for companies such as TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, a lot of big companies. Anyhow, MailChimp was just acquired for $12 billion, big ones. That's right, $12 billion. And we noted this is actually one of the richest sales ever. And from a company that was completely privately owned and privately bootstrapped, in fact. They actually funded this thing themselves. We're not talking about, venture capitalist money. We're not talking about going public or anything like that. Literally, the company, the owner, they started this all by themselves. And this company was based and continues to be based in Atlanta. It's an email marketing company, but congratulations to him. That's a big check. I know, Vicky, right? Talk about a big lotto check right now. The CEO, Ben Chestnut, is actually only in his 40s. So big congratulations to Ben. If you have any questions on how to manage that money, definitely reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Now, let's also segue a little bit. I thought you would enjoy this. It's sort of a fun way to end today's stream. And that is, you may be hearing a lot about that talk about boosters, right? Vaccine boosters. If you're like me, you're probably a little confused. Do we get them? Should we get them? What day are we supposed to get these, booster vaccines and all this craziness? Well, if you're confused, you're definitely not alone. I thought I would share with you 2 articles on the same topic, referencing the exact same CEO that came out today. Now, today on CNBC, we saw this headline: the Delta variant is so contagious that it raises the bar for COVID vaccines, the Moderna president says. In fact, the fast-spreading Delta variant is so contagious that it's exposed to weaknesses in vaccine protection. So this is Moderna President Stephen Hoge saying that absolutely, this booster shot is very important because the vaccine is waning and this and that. All right, so we get that, right? Then you kind of jump over to Yahoo Finance. Notice, I monitor financial news all day long. I saw this headline: Moderna president says, we don't really know if additional COVID-19 shots will be necessary. Wait, hold up. I'm really confused. Now, Vicky, are you confused? Modern Mom, are you confused? And Josh, were you confused? And I saw so many of others on the different platforms. Don't be shy. Let me know where you're joining us from. But this I thought was really confusing. You got the same CEO, Moderna CEO, saying on one platform that they're realizing that the vaccine is waning and there's increased cases of Delta COVID. Therefore, booster shots are going to be probably very important, and we might need more shots. And then you see on Yahoo Finance talking about, well, we really don't know if we're really going to need those shots. And if so, we don't know when we're going to need the shots, and still a lot of unknown. I'm just like, what is going on? Very, very confusing. So confusing. Now, I will say, so you might be asking, what's the answer? I was asking myself the same thing. So what's the answer? Oh, I don't know. I'm not a health expert, but these types of conflicting headlines and stories can certainly cause uncertainty in the financial markets, especially as we continue to be in the thick of the pandemic. So what's the plan? The plan is this. Keep tuning in and we'll continue to update you on how best to navigate your business and keep you ready for 2022. We got so much coming up in the next few weeks. You definitely want to stay close. But in the meantime, thank you so much for watching, supporting our program, and take a moment to share this show. And thank you so much, Vicky. Big shout out to you for being such a great supporter. And as a reminder, you can find full episodes of Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And as a teaser, we're coming to another really big market very soon. Very excited. Can't wait to share that with you soon. Be well, and I can't wait to see you again very soon. Take care.